It is time for the Midlife Hockey Crisis Beer League podcast with your hosts TJ Hollingsworth and Dangly Dave Dickerson. Take it away, boys.
Yeah. I think I audibly said that. Welcome to Sponsored by Dentville.
All right, so we're kind of sitting here. We are with Jordy Trottier. We are talking about D-League and the development of players. Now, this is one thing I wanted to bring up because Dave and I did a whole episode on etiquette, locker room and bench etiquette, and then we talked about dealing with that guy. And that guy is a guy that gets a little too intense, a little too worked up about the game, and a little too competitive. So before I tell my story, which I've already told it, but I'd like to get your take. What do you do when you have that one person you see that's just starting to lose their composure, starting to lose their cool?
They think they're in the NHL.
I mean, the first thing I usually do is make fun of them. And then that
Which
grounds
you
them.
do, yeah.
Because when somebody's irritated, nothing calms them down like somebody making fun.
Like giving them a quick jab.
Calm down there, Paul Bunyan.
Yeah.
Easy there, Trigger Boy. Sit down.
No, that's all beer league. Our league's the same. I play in the A league over in Fishers with all my friends. And we got guys on our team that get a little out of control. And that's why it's competitive, you know. You got to remember, but it takes someone on the bench to give you the nudge like, hey.
So
you remember why we're here, right?
Yeah, take a few logs off the fire, fella.
So we're this probably, I don't know, 3 weeks ago, 3 or 4 weeks. I think it's 3 weeks ago. We were having one of those. My team I was on the negative end of a 6-1 trumping, and I started to lose my composure. And Jordy was kind enough to kind of come up behind me and kind of calm me down a little bit. And
well, I was worried. I thought you were going to Marty McSorley somewhere. I was like, I better get this under control.
And that kind of brings me up to a point, and we brought this up, and I've come up with what I said. If you're going to be part of a team sport, I don't care if it's a rec league, if it's pickup league, or if it's a super competitive league. If you're going to be a part of a team, I think there's kind of some minimal requirements as far as things you should be learning outside of your ice time when you show up to the rink. Would you agree, disagree?
I agree for sure. I mean, it's like anything. It's common courtesy and etiquette for anything. But, I mean, the big thing, if you're coming to start, you're looking to get into hockey, I think the best thing for you to do is find some ice, go to, public skater or learn to play, and don't, show up and not be able to skate. Like, it's okay if you're learning. That's great.
Right.
But at the first day you're lacing up skates and you're coming to hopefully play in a competitive game, that's what the D-League's for. But it is also detrimental to the players that are, coming to have a good time because, you're not going to have fun. You're going to be out of the play. You're going to get frustrated. So you never want to put yourself in a bad position. It's kind of like learning an instrument. So, like, people are always like, oh, I want to learn guitar. And then a month and a half later, the guitar's sitting in your closet because you're frustrated. It's not going well. So you want to set yourself up for success. And we come out to have fun. So you want to have fun when you're out.
Yeah, more fun if you can be more involved in the game. That's kind of my take was there's just so much information at your fingertips, literally on your phone. You're at work and you're sitting down, taking care of some business in the room you go into by yourself. You can pop up a Coach Jeremy or something. There's basic fundamentals. My big thing is knowing where you're supposed to be on the ice, at least having some idea.
Yeah, and that's tough stuff. And sometimes that's the best way to learn that is by playing. And you learn by making mistakes, and then you realize like, oh, that's why I pick up that guy. That's why he's my man. And you see it once it happens. And that's a good thing about our league is it lets everyone kind of go through those learning curves, and the players aren't harping on anybody. Everyone's like, yeah, no, it happened to me. I've been there, and that's how you learn. But it's fun, and that's what makes hockey so great. It is a team sport. When you come in, there's that camaraderie regardless. I know, you change teams every so often, but it's how we develop.
That's been one of the things I've kind of missed this session is being on a team. And if you're listening for the first time, situation Dave and I are now there with the creation of this new league you've heard us talk about. It reduced the number of D-League players to where there was really enough for maybe 3 teams, maybe. So rather than do that, they said we'll just do 2, and it's not even really a team. You could be playing. You're playing with a different group, a different match of the same groups. Yeah. So it kind of makes any kind of continuity. Or we're having some of this conversation after the game today with some of the new guys. Sometimes it can be difficult to learn. If we've had situations where you look out and you're like, uh-oh, and there's 3 brand new green players on the line at the same time. There's nobody really to go out there and set an example, kind of direct traffic. Just kind of, not on that part, but it just way things shuffled around and turned around. So there's definitely some pluses and minuses to things like that. Jordy, I'd kind of like to get your take on somebody that's sitting out here listening to this and they go, you know what? This sounds like fun. This sounds like something I want to do. So what would you say are 3 or 4 things that somebody that's brand new green, never stepped on the ice, a couple things they could do to be the best prepared for that first time they do show up to a training session or to a hockey clinic or something like that to be an adult D-League player?
Well, I would say the first thing you probably should do, and it's not, necessary, is go find some time to be on the ice prior to joining the league. It's not hard. There's public skate, stick, and puck. There's adult clinics, and just kind of get your feet wet so you're not showing up completely green. And not that that's a detriment to anybody, but it's, when you sign up for a league, there's costs involved. You got to buy all your gear. And the league will go for, I'm not sure what you guys have, but like ours is 28 games. So
that's a long
time.
Yeah. So so ours is like the league over in Fishers it starts in October and it goes through March. It's once a week.
Yeah. Right now, I think ours is 8 weeks. 8 weeks. 8 weeks.
In Fishers,
$190.
Yeah, I think here it's 18 games spread out over 20 or.
Yeah.
We have the holidays, a couple holidays roll in here between September through February, so I think it's something like that. So,
right.
So it's just it's finding time to get yourself on the ice, understanding how. Even to get around the rink, so you know how to put all your gear on. I know it sounds self-explanatory.
I had to look that up. I bought a bag of gear off of Facebook Marketplace. I'm literally looking at it going, I have no idea what goes where.
I had to YouTube that. I had to YouTube how do you put on your hockey gear, because sometimes you still get it wrong. You put the skates on, then you put your pants, and then you got.
There's the worst thing. You're all dressed, and you look over, and your socks are laying on the bench. Like, oh man.
Yep.
And
I forgot my cup.
Part of being new. Did you guys see the video of Ovechkin and Carlson cup checking?
No.
Classic. I think it was
now.
2 days ago.
Hope everything's tucked in properly.
Yeah, but no. So that I want to bring that up. And that's the best thing about this is, like you were saying, it's tough now for you guys at D-League because you don't have the team aspect because you're shuffling around. But you watch guys like that, and there's like the love they have for each other on their team, and there's just nothing like it when you're a part of something bigger than yourself.
Right.
And that's the beauty of
Agreed.
team sports.
Agreed.
So that's you never want to deter someone to go, hey, you need to do this before you come out, because you're going to come out and everyone's going to. There you go.
He pulled it up on YouTube.
I pulled up the video of them cup checking, so we'll save that. Yeah, I'm going to save that.
It's a good video. It's funny. Whatever gets you ready.
All right. Last but not least, let's wrap up with this right here. Top 2 things you would say that a person playing at the D level needs to accomplish before they look at moving up in the next layer of competition. 2 or 3 things that just kind of jump to mind. You'd say, here's some skills you definitely need to have.
Skating ability is one. Like, so we're watching the game now, and you can pick out who is going to be more successful just from being able to maneuver around the ice.
The guy with the puck just now.
And then I would say, like, from moving from the D-League going up, is you have a better understanding of X's and O's. You know how breakouts are supposed to play. You know how to forecheck, understand a 2-on-1, a 3-on-2, and you know how to defend certain areas. And once you kind of are seeing and understanding the game, then you're ready to take it to another level. And I think that's the biggest thing, which we love to see. Once you guys it's like learning curves. It's not just straight up. It's you have plateaus, and you get stuck for a bit, and then something comes up, and you're like, oh my God, that clicks, and I get it. And when you see that, when the D-League guys get it, it like exponentially shoots them up to another level, and it's awesome to watch. And that's when they kind of get to the point where it's like, hey, now I'm ready for the C-League. My skating gets a little better after that. I can probably move up again. But you always just want to put yourself in a position where you're having a good time, because that's why we come.
All right, great. Well, I'll tell you what. I was going to ask you to shoot some holes in Dave's game, but I know you got things to do today. So
yeah,
plenty.
You guys got a couple hours. You sit down. Get the popcorn ready.
There's your next visit, and then of course one of these days we'll have you on. We'll talk about Jordy was right there when the incident happened, when my foot got twisted around the wrong direction.
That's curls my stomach. Holy cow, that was rough.
There was a little bit of PTSD to be dealt with, some therapy after that for Jordy, but
Yeah.
he had the second best seat in the house to the whole thing.
Dropped the face off. Foot's completely turned south. I'm like, I don't think that's how that's supposed to go.
Not
It's
good.
on video. On video, right?
We got the whole thing on video. Yeah,
His shin pad was still on the right spot too. I was like, this doesn't make any sense.
That's funny. That was brand new skates. Had worn them twice, I think, at a stick and puck earlier in the week. And all I'm sitting here thinking about is I'm terrified that some EMT is going to be there with the scissors cutting my skates
Don't
off.
cut my pads.
It's like, oh, get these off quick before it starts to swell. Come on. Let's go.
Yeah, the skates are so stiff now. I think they should use that as a marketing tool. Look at this. Literally, your ankle will bend, but the skate won't.
It
You
won't.
gotta get a Dremel. You gotta get a Dremel to take those things off.
They're those great big chop saws that they cut concrete with.
Yeah, they
Back
draw
up.
the
It's going
line,
to get messy.
Uh-uh.
Well, Jordy, appreciate you coming on. Thank you so much. And always, thanks for everything you do out here.
Oh, I appreciate it.
I know,
Thanks for having me. This is,
Yeah, I love
this is
it.
fun.
I
I was
love you
looking
being
forward
out
to it
there.
all week. I was catching up on the podcast for you.
Right.
Awesome. Well, cool. Well, and definitely, we want to do this again soon. Maybe towards the end of the season, we can sit and we're going to have some of the other guys on.
Absolutely.
And then as we have them on, we'll just keep a list and we'll go through all the wrong things they do, maybe, at the end of the year.
Get mine
Everything
ready.
they do
Get
wrong.
mine ready.
All right, friends, thank you so much. You've been listening to the Midlife Hockey Crisis Beer League podcast brought to you by WinningSynthetics.com and TheHockeyArsenal.com. Kelly, take it away.
You have been listening to the Midlife Hockey Crisis podcast. We'll see you next period.